Okay, we're going over PSSA Power 53, so make sure you make any corrections, leave any notes, and make sure you have your name on it when you hand it in. So, let's start with the first one. It says, find the mode of the data below. Now, this already puts them in least to greatest order, so we don't have to worry about rewriting it. You also need to know what mode means. Remember, the MO in mode is like the MO in most often. So we are looking for the number or numbers that occurs the most often. Now with a line plot, it tends to be easy to see because they are the number or numbers that has the most x's. So if you look here, 38 and 40 both have the most x's with 3, so 38 and 40 occur the most. So that means D is the answer. If you had it, give yourself a C. If you forgot what mode is, write that down. You got to remember this. In the area problem, we have to find the area of the figure below. Now we're going to start by decomposing this sucker. You have a couple options, but one is going to be easier than the others. One is you can decompose it here and here. That would create a rectangle here, a big rectangle here, and a little rectangle here. But I don't recommend that because that one might be a little bit harder. So I'm actually going to decompose it right here to make a rectangle on top and a rectangle on bottom. So I'm going to start by drawing my line. And I'm going to shade in so you see the two we're talking about. So we're talking about this rectangle that I'm shading gray and this rectangle here that I'm shading red. We have to find the area of both of these, and then we're going to add those areas together. So let us get started. The bottom rectangle is actually a little bit easier here because if you notice, the 4 is the whole side and the 12 is the whole bottom. So you just got to do 4 times 12, which is 48. But the top rectangle is going to be a little bit trickier. So we do have this side here, which is 4. But we don't have this side here. So that's the one we're going to have to do some thinking here. So I'm going to actually use the bottom of the red rectangle to help me find it. Because we know this whole bottom is 12. But when we look at the bottom of the gray rectangle, we don't need that whole side. We only need the part that I'm showing you right now. So if we could take this 12 and subtract this part, whatever's left over will be this part, which is what we need. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take 12 and I'm going to subtract this 2 away, which I don't need. So we're down to 10. Remember, I'll start with 12. I subtracted that 2 away. And I'm going to subtract this 2 away, which we don't need, which means we're down to 8. That means this whole bottom is going to be 8. So now I have my two measurements. 8 times 4 is 32. So now I just take my two areas. The area of the red rectangle was 48, plus the area of the blue rectangle was 32. If I add those together, I get 80 square inches, which is A. All right, let's go down to the third one, rates and ratios. It says, at a bake sale, Mike sells 7 cupcakes in 4 hours. I'm going to write that as a fraction. 7 cupcakes, 4 hours. At this rate, how many cupcakes did Mike sell in 8 hours? So I'm going to create an equivalent ratio. And since hours is on bottom on the left, the 8 hours needs to be on bottom on the right. So to figure out how many cupcakes, I just do 4 times 2 is 8. 7 times 2 is 14. So your answer is 14 cupcakes. All right, last one. On average, the human head is 0.073 or 73 thousandths of the weight of the body. What is this amount as a percent? So basically, I'm changing a decimal to a percent. And if you remember, our favorite word, deep, is going to help us do that. So if I take 0.073, since it's a decimal, I just have to move twice to the right to change it to a percent. And if I do that once, twice, I get 7.3%, which is C. So make sure you leave yourself any notes for any you got wrong so you know how to do the ones tomorrow, which will be graded. Thanks, guys.